Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Gulfstream today as we kick off a new week of live racing at beautiful Gulfstream Park. The Pegasus World Cup may be in the rearview mirror, but now we are on the road to the Triple Crown Holy Bull coming up this weekend, an important prep race for that Kentucky Derby as Acacia Courtney and Brian Nadeau join you. We'll be drawing that Saturday card this afternoon. We were just talking about it and looking like those 5 stakes on Saturday are coming up pretty salty.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's exciting to see the 3-year-olds, now the newly minted 3-year-olds, go 2 turns and start down the path to Fountain Youth, obviously then the Florida Derby in early April. So a lot of excitement. The race is coming up very strong, too.
We kick off at the day today. We have a 9-race card on this Wednesday afternoon. Of course, we had that mandatory payout of the Rainbow Six this past weekend. So we start fresh this afternoon in race number 4 today. Ron Nicoletti, of course, will have a ticket. We have $50,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee, and I can bet it's most likely 43.20.
Yeah, and it won't take long to build that back up. Like we paid it out on Sunday, over $6 million in the pool. So congratulations. We'll show it and talk about it a little bit later during the lightning round. But yeah, we start fresh, we start new, and as you mentioned, the big card on Saturday, the Rainbow starts again, so a lot to look forward to going forward.
That does include your early pick 5. It starts on the main track, $12,500 claiming race, and a couple of tricky races in this sequence, Brian. I think the question is, who is going to get in the winner's circle today?
Yeah, there's a couple races like that. We'll talk about the opener, 1-6 in race 2, and that is the race. Somebody will break through. The single is in race 3, Aficionado for Victor Barboza. There's the spread in race 4, that good turf race you and I talked about off the air a little bit. I didn't have a strong opinion. It looks wide open, so we'll spread and hope to get some value. Top pick is number 5, Alcahira. And then in the get-out leg, race 5, it is down inside Capturini for Jose D'Angelo and Luis Saez, $36.
Been a deadly team at the meet here. $36 play as the opener. As mentioned, 12-5 claiming race, 5.5 furlongs on the main track, and currently reserve not attained is a very short price. I scratched into him. I had Imperial King on top before the late scratch, and so I'm not thrilled with the fact that I've got reserve not attained on A, because I think there's some other speed, and B, when does it stop? You know, when does this horse kind of turn back into a pumpkin, I guess, kind of question?
I think it's a great question, Acacia. We'll show a stat for Elizabeth Dobles, too, but the horse has been so good. He ran so hard last time, and he still ran off the screen. Here it is, 4 for 11 off the claim in sprints the past year, 36% the ROI. 294. So, you know, this is a solid barn in general off the claim. You dial it down just a little bit, that much better. But, you know, he ran so big last time, and he had to run hard, and he just exploded in the lane. It's been 2 in a row now, and he's a very popular horse off the claim. I don't think that's a big surprise. And you know, this is a barn that does a good job, and IRAD's here, and it all adds up. I get it, and 2 to 5 as we look on the board. But, you know, I'm with you. He's just... where do we go from here? How can he can't run any better than that last race. And I just have to wonder, does he regress a little bit? And you talked about Imperial King. I've got Lusitano on top. There are other horses in this race. If he comes back a little bit and they get to their best race, they're going to meet in the middle. And when you're talking about 2 to 5, you're allowed to look elsewhere.
Yeah, Lusitano dropped all the way from the 62,000 allowance optional claiming level down to the 12.5 last time, second behind reserve not attained. We'll see if they can turn things around this afternoon. I thought the other one for Elizabeth Dobles, Hard Bell, maybe could grab a share on a bit of a class drop, maybe overlooked. I would imagine the 2 we have, 1-2 will take most of the attention.
Yeah, I agree. And the one thing we didn't mention about the reserve not attained race last time, it was in the slop. So, you know, maybe that flattered him that much more, and maybe that knocked Lusitano down a peg. Well, here we go today on a fast main track. We'll see. And Lusitano's getting bet into the teeth of him, too. Early, though.
Race number 2, 7 furlongs on the main track, as you alluded to. Somebody is going to break their maiden today. We both think it has the number 1 Fearless Girl has as good a shot as any. It's tough to trust her. She did run well off the layoff. Does she get the win today?
It's now or never, right? She has to win today, doesn't she? I mean, you look at the body of this field, and I think there's a couple horses that can't win. Okay, Caladad is probably loose on the outside. I get that, but Fearless Girl, if you're a numbers player, she's just better than this field, and doesn't she have to improve second off the long layoff? She ran pretty well last time, too.
And meanwhile, to the outside, Caladad has been favored in her last 5 races. She's 0 for 20, 6 seconds and 4/3. I agree, the speed is dangerous, and maybe this is just the right place, but it's very tough to trust her.
Yeah, 100%. For everything you said, 0 for 20 with 10 slices underneath, and the water finds its own level. Maybe that will be today. I don't know. I think Fearless Girl is in. It's the right spot for her.
Somebody's going to get their picture taken this afternoon as we move on to race at number 3, a dated claimer, about 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta. Fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, which have not won a race since August 2nd, 2021. And you go to the number 2, Aficionado. I know this was your single.
Yeah, I mean, there's other horses in here that certainly can win, and you've got Lawn Dart in the mix, and I have him too. I share her too, excuse me. But, I think the overall body of work here is solid. I like the cutback too. Irad's going to get aboard. The blinkers come off today, and Victor Barboza is a high percentage trainer. I just thought maybe today she's in a good spot here to break what's a pretty decent losing streak.
Yeah, this one will have a Red Ortiz aboard, cuts back, blinkers off, a lot of changes today. I did go with Lawn Dart, as you mentioned. The other Ortiz brother, Jose Ortiz, coming off a great weekend as well. I just thought that she could potentially be the controlling speed. That was the big intrigue for me. Her last race was disappointing as the favorite, to be honest. And but prior to that, up at Presque Isle, she was running pretty consistently. This is a main track race once again. I just think it's really interesting with Gerald Brooks claiming her. The barn is very strong off the claim in general, and thought that with the good outside post, she could potentially take them gate to wire.
Yeah, I agree. And Jose caught a flyer on Sunday and never stopped on the Tapeta, and that's probably the play here. And the other thing I like about Lawn Dart too is obviously the barn. Gerald Brooks knew this horse at Presque Isle Downs and reaches in 31% off the claim, as you alluded to. So there's things to like here. What you don't like is how poorly he ran last race, but he does drop a little bit. That doesn't really bother me off the claim. It's a slight drop. And you're right. If he breaks running and if Paco from the outside on Vale doesn't apply pressure, yeah, Lawn Dart might not come back.
The number 7, Vale, as you mentioned, has a little natural speed.
Yeah.
I think one thing we've kind of noticed, and it's been a theme, watching some of these Woodbine horses come down who maybe have Tapeta experience, they just seem to often maybe take a little time, and obviously each horse is different, but they seem to take a little time to adapt here in South Florida. And I would think that this horse, second now here in Florida, and now having that race, finishing 3rd last time out, we could see some improvement.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And when they first came down here, I said, oh, these are Woodbine horses that have handled the Tapeta. Yeah. I'm going to be on them. And, I didn't have a lot of winners doing that. And now maybe they're cycling back around a little bit. Marty Drexler's a high percentage trainer up there at Woodbine. This horse just got completely taken out of her element last time. She got ran off her feet. The Tapeta was really fast that day, track records and that kind of thing. She got taken out of her game. I would think Paco, second time aboard her now, he's going to see that tactical speed she showed at Woodbine, put her in the game. Now, can she run with Lawn Dart? That remains to be seen, but I think at least this time she won't be coming from 10th.
Well, that's the first 3. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll kick off the Rainbow 6. We'll see Ronnie's ticket, and we will start that pool anew after Sunday's mandatory payout.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Ground by first inside. Race. And a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Gulfstream today continues, as does the championship meet following that Pegasus World Cup Invitational this past weekend. Acacia and Brian here with you as we get ready to kick off the Rainbow 6 sequence on this Wednesday afternoon. We're on the turf for this 4th race, starting anew with that Rainbow 6. And Ron Nicoletti put together a ticket, and it's not 43.20.
What
I don't know.
happened?
I'm thrown for a loop a little bit here,
Wow,
Brian.
this is a little disconcerting here. Wow, and he's only got 2 in what is a very tough opening leg. 3-4-7 in race 5, a little more condensed. He's got Destinique, who I like, and he also used number 7, Serenade a Kitten on the drop, a little spread in race 7. 1-2 in race 8. I think that makes a lot of sense with Brasstown and Hero Tiger. And then in the finale, Ronnie's been threatening to hit this thing for quite a while now. I think clearly Sunset Provision is the horse to beat. He's going to get some value probably with straight time for Mike Trombetta.
28-80 for the Rainbow Six today. 50,000 gross jackpot guarantee pool. We do kick it off, as mentioned, on the turf, a mile and a 16th for this 3-year-old filly, making it special weight in a really interesting race. And we both land on the same horse, the number 5, Alcahira, a homebred for Helen Alexander. And this horse ran really well getting to the turf last time out. She's a very narrow type of fine bone type of filly, and I think that she really handled the turf quite well, as was shown with that good performance.
Yeah, and somewhat odd, too, because the dam's a half to Kofefi,
Yep.
who we know is an absolute sprint machine. But she did. She went long last time. She handled the turf beside herself, came back and really ran off the screen to kick off the Rainbow Six on Sunday. The Michael Tabor homebred for Pletcher looked really, really good in her 3rd start. And now Alcahira is going to make her 3rd start. Bill Mott, a patient trainer, Hall of Fame trainer that likes to get them into the game. And I think now Alcahira, all systems go today.
Down to the inside, the number 1 Estate. We have a replay for this filly as she finished 3rd last time out. Her first time on the turf for Mike Trombetta, and there's not much happening here, but I did want to show, as you can see in the short comment, that she finished on her left lead, and that's something we talk about often, and here's where you can really see it. And you can see right there where Miguel Vasquez asks her to switch over to her outside lead. That often at this kind of crucial stage of the race, Brian, helps a horse to kind of re-energize, switch their weight, their balance to the outside leg, and kind of re-brake. And you could see that she flattened out a little bit with On Alert pushing past. It was a nice field that she ran against last time, so hopefully we see some more maturity today and that she's able to switch leads and improve, because I thought it was a race she could build off of.
Yeah, that was a cool replay too, because that is not my thing, picking up on that, and you could really see it there. It's right in front of you, isn't it? I mean, she just really, really improved in a big way getting to turf last time. Her first 3 starts on the dirt in the Mid-Atlantic were okay, but they were slow. She gets to the turf last time and really blows up. Now she's drawn perfectly. She's got that race behind her. I don't see any reason why she can't move forward today, Acacia.
Beyond that, there are some first-time starters, and my mistake, I wrote things down incorrectly. It should be 5164 for me. Spenderella, a first-time starter. Point Pleasant, a first-time starter. Spenderella, the 4, is the one with the big pedigree, being the full to Spanish Love Affair and half to Spanish Queen.
Yeah, they 284 and 423 earned for those 2 gals. So there's a lot to like here. They paid $220 for a daughter of Caraconti, so who stands for 10. New York bred, Graham Motion, a patient trainer, but Jose Ortiz is here, so maybe that says to me there might be a little intent here. Maybe this gal can run.
Point Pleasant, meanwhile, not much turf on the bottom side. Kyra Prince, they tend to go either way. This one with Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle. Shogmi Gay, he's got a firster as well with Point Well Taken. Will be interesting to see how these first-time starters are played.
Yeah, I agree. And 3 of them could be live and taking money, and you get the benefit of checking the board to kick off the Rainbow. And I think that's beneficial, too, because as you mentioned, we've got the Christoph firster, the Shug firster, and then Graham as well. And these are potent turf barns. If not today, I think these are 3 names to remember down the road.
Speaking of Shug McGahee, right behind us, according to our top spotter, Ron Nicoletti, that is Shug McGahee's Radio Days schooling for this weekend coming up. We kick off the late pick 5, meanwhile, in race number 5, 5.5 furlongs on the main track, fillies and mares. Late pick 5, how'd you see it?
Well, I'm glad Ronnie's okay, too. We were going to check in with him after that 20-20.
I know.
But good to know that Ronnie's okay. $27 here as the wind kicks up a little bit. We'll talk about the opener. The single is in race 6, and it's a reach, admittedly, but I don't know if I'm going to get enough price on Midnight Bella in the win pool, so I want to try to take advantage of her. She is my best bet of the day in race 6, number 3, Midnight Bella. There's the spread in race 7. Top pick is Sheki Shabazz in a race where certainly Extravagant Kids got to hit hard. And then in the 8th, it's 2-1 for me, but I also added in a price with the Mighty Judge. And then in the finale, my long shot play of the day is Bahamian Captain. I admit I had struggled to find a long shot on this card. I didn't really think it was a card that you want to get too crazy and too out there, but it's Monica McGoey off the claim, and I think Luis Saez riding says, you know what, we're going to fire a big shot today.
$27 play in the late pick 5 again kicks off in this 5th race. 62.50. Non-winners of 3 in life for the fillies and mares. We both go down to the inside with Captorini, as mentioned earlier. Jose D'Angelo and Luis Saez have been making very few wrong moves together throughout this championship meet. It seems like everything they throw out has been hitting.
I agree, and we're going to check a trainer stat here on Jose, and this is a class drop that drops in half, and it's a small sample, but when he drops them like this, 5 for 11, 45% with a 303 ROI. Luis Saez has ridden this one in her last 2. She won 2 back. They're 33% together when they team up. And Acacia, it's a field where I think some of these horses, Future Flay now rises in class. A couple of them to me are a little tough to trust, and I just wonder, Freezer Burn, the other one, are they going to run back to those 2 big wins, or are they going to come back to the field a little bit?
I agree. I felt that in this kind of race, I wanted one that was dropping in class more than one that had kind of been at this level already, as Future Flay goes from non-2 to non-winners of 3, first off the claim. Ran a big race last time out. There's certainly that. And Freezer Burn, same kind of situation. We go on to race 6. We're on the Tapeta, about a mile and 70 yards, $16,000 claiming race. This one is where you had your best bet, I believe.
Yeah, Midnight Bella, I think is 6 on the line. I think she's going to get bet in here. You can see it. She didn't have any chance last time. She was wide every step of the way. The flow didn't play to her either. She was in against much, much better. Now she's going to drop in class. That race 2 back at this level is a pretty salty group for this kind of level. Appointed has been pretty good. And I think she can move forward for Bill Therinos, and the rest of these, to me, seem a little stuck in neutral, so I'm stepping out a little bit. Serenade a Kitten on the steep drop. What are you going to get from her? If nothing else, Midnight Bella is in square, solid form, and I think she'll run her race, whereas some of these others, they've struggled to kind of keep their form going.
Yeah, I took Serenade a Kitten, but I'm a little suspicious of her. She ran so well last time out and then just so badly, for lack of a better phrase, last time. 2 back, she ran really well at a big price. To be fair, and you mentioned the drop, this is significantly softer company than what she faced in her last 2. She had Grand Avenue Girl, Editor at Large in those last couple. Very, very tough horses, and also horses that really like the Tapeta. I also just thought with the outside post, and I think the controlling speed. The question is, can she sustain it? Because she was really disappointing last time.
Yeah, and you look at her form, and regardless of if you're a Buyers fan or not, you just see the form, 70, 71, 77. She kind of runs that race every time. Here she is with a 57, and she doesn't fire at all last time. And now she's in for 16, and you just have to wonder where she's going from here. Mary Epler's she's not winning races, but the barn's running. Javier is probably going to just put her on the engine and hope she doesn't stop.
And we'll see if tactically that helps her. Down to the inside, the number 1, Destinique. Elizabeth Dobles has some live chances today. This one is consistent. Showed that she belonged at this level with a respectable 3rd.
Yeah, and she beat my top pick, so I mean, certainly I've got to respect her. Like you said, I've got her in 2nd. The post works well here. She's tactical enough that she's not going to let Serenade a Kitten get too far away from her early either.
We go on to race number 7. I think perhaps the best race on the card. This one should be a fun one. 5 furlongs on the turf in this allowance optional claiming, and this is a salty, salty group. Let's start with Extravagant Kid. We have his last replay. This is a horse that won the Alquas Sprint on Dubai World Cup weekend back in 2021. He is a 9-year-old. We love him here in Florida. He's a Florida bred, and he just shows up pretty much every time. 2nd behind the very, very fast Karatari last time out.
Yeah, and when Karatari gets his own way up front, he's not coming back to you. So, I mean, Extravagant Kid ran really, really well. He's taken off his game. I don't know if, 5 furlongs on this turf course is his jam. That's a tough spot for him. But he just fires every time, and he's such a cool horse. I was at Fairgrounds last winter when he went over $1 million, and Brendan Walsh was just so happy that he got to that level, and he certainly surpassed it. Now he went on, as you mentioned, to win that sprint in Dubai. He's just such a cool old horse. He is 9 now, so you're allowed to wonder. The rust he might kick in a little bit, but he's certainly a major player in here.
And the question is that, he won on the big day, and to be fair, it wasn't the toughest
No.
Dubai World Cup weekend we've had. Besides that, his wins are a little few and far between. He could get a good setup today. That could be in his favor. Meanwhile, another super cool horse is Sheki Shabazz, who's back with Christoph Kaman, and he's kind of the house horse now. But he has a lot of speed. There have been times when you just feel like he should have gotten there with a little bit of a better flow to him. What's this trainer stat you have here?
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. I'm wondering what year it is, too, here, by the way, with Sheki Shabazz and Extravagant Kid kicking on here. Christoph sprinting on the turf at Gulfstream the past 3 years, 10 for 35, 29%. So obviously this is a barn that does this very, very well. And Sheki Shabazz is just going to be comfortably in front of Extravagant Kid for as far as they go. And they're both in very, very good form. And when that's the case, going 5 on this turf course, that's how I'm going to play it. You know, I will say this, though. Extravagant Kid was a little closer last time, so that's a credit to him. I just think Sheki Shabazz, with his speed, whether like what I see goes from the inside and Sheki presses and kicks on, or if he doesn't break and Sheki goes, maybe he doesn't come back today.
And we've seen him duel down to the wire as well. We'll see if Sheki Shabazz can get back to the winner's circle. As to the outside, you have Harry's on the loose, another horse who doesn't have the same class, I think, as the two we just talked about. They definitely have the class edge on this field, but this is a hard-knocking 6-year-old as well. You have some real crusty veterans in this race.
Yeah, and I use this horse in my pick 5. I mean, we've talked about Extravagant Kid 9, Sheki Shabazz 7. Maybe they're getting a little long in the tooth. You look at the race 2 back on Harry's on the loose on the turf here at Gulfstream, and it was a really, really strong effort in a very, very fast race. He can lay close too, and if these two old warriors stumble a little bit or don't bring their A game, and he's now back on the turf, you know, he could surprise here, and he'll get completely forgot on the board too, because you know those two favorites are going to get bet hard.
For sure, and I would think one that would kind of be on the cusp behind those two would be Elusive Mischief, second off the layoff, a stakes winner, a 7-year-old as well. You'd think second off the bench and back on grass, we could see an improved effort from him for trainer Ian Wilkes. Race number 8 today, we're on the main track going a mile, starter optional claiming for 4-year-olds and up. And this is my long shot play of the day, the Mighty Judge, trying to get a bit of a price. I think with You're Killing Me Out, that's going to make a little bit of a bigger spread. I thought that was a horse that was going to take a lot of money in this race, so we'll see what kind of a price I get on the Mighty Judge, but I just felt 1.25 miles last time out on Tapeta up at Woodbine, just too much for him. Gets back to the main track today and thought that he could set a good trip.
I'm with you, and I lost You're Killing Me, who was the third choice in my pick 5, and I put the Mighty Judge in because I agree with you, Acacia, and maybe he gets a little flow help in here as well. That was a 2-turn race at Fort Erie where he ran so big. He's going to have some foundation coming out of 1.25 miles at Woodbine. You know Brasstown down inside is going, and he ran huge last time. You're allowed to think maybe he regresses a little bit. Jose Ortiz is not letting anyone go early on Hero Tiger. Maybe it plays out for the Mighty Judge in here.
Yeah, speaking of Hero Tiger, that's where you land to turn things around with Brasstown, and we have the last race that these two come out of on December 31st, Brasstown the winner. And yes, he did. He drifted pretty significantly off the rail. Hero Tiger still not able to catch him that day, but you would think with this kind of performance and seeing him drift, Brasstown, I would think, would be a little bit vulnerable today, as right here is where you can really see him start to drift.
Yeah, I agree. And Sir Aggravator on the outside is probably going too. So, you know, there could be a lot better scenario for Hero Tiger today, and he's not going to be that far out of it to begin with. So I do like him in here. If there's a worry, I mean, Juan Ciabla, the barn has struggled winning races. They're running well. They're finishing underneath. Don't get me wrong. Struggling to get to the winner's circle.
10 seconds at the meet. We'll see if they can turn things around today. The number 5 Trapezoid also coming out of that race. We'll see what kind of race flow he gets today as well. We wrap things up with a good one on the turf. 5 furlong turf sprint in this maiden optional claiming for 3-year-olds. Again, the Florida Breds do not have to run for the claiming tag. Bahamian Captain, your long shot play.
Yeah, I mean, down in the rail on debut and didn't really break, broke 9th of 10 and still ran on to be 3rd. Was bet that day at 8-1. Now Monica Magoe claims him. Luis Saez gets aboard. And I think, you know, with the exception of Sunset Provision, who's to me clearly the horse to be, I didn't see really a lot in here, Acacia. And I would think, and Monica does a good job off the claim. I would think she can move Bohemian Captain up a little bit, and now Sunset Provision down inside with a potentially problematic post will take a shot at what should be a decent price in there.
Louis I is aboard off the claim, and there is a nice turf pedigree on the bottom side as well. The dam was good on the grass. I went with the number 6 Straight Time, who I like cutting back. You can even see it in the short. Comet was really reluctant to load 2 starts back, and that was a race where Mogaloo kind of ran them off their feet and then was very game to win. I did not like the stretch out last time out. Those were my notes, and that I thought that this was much more of a sprinter. So I love him turning back to the 5 furlongs today and back on the grass. So we'll see if that's just kind of a back to basics type of move.
Yeah, and he's also going to run with Lasix and blinkers on for the first time sprinting. So there's a lot of reason to think Straight Time can move forward today.
Down on the inside, you alluded to him already, Sunset Provision. First time on the turf for Joe Orsino. Ran well at a big price on debut.
Yeah, and this is a Florida bred, so we don't have to be in for the tag. So you don't have any worries there. And he did run well. And he kind of ran in place, though, and sometimes I question those type of efforts because, the figure is kind of inflated by the winner, whereas he kind of just went around there in place. But, Joe's not a guy that's going to pop too much on first asking, so this horse ran very, very well. If he moves forward, or quite frankly, if he just holds his form, he's going to win in here.
That is the 9-race card today. Wrapping it up with that 3-year-old maiden race on the turf. Should be a fun one, but we are not done yet. We have the lightning round, and I think you can guess some of the things that we will recap or preview coming up here on today's lightning round, starting with one gentleman who had a terrific Sunday.
Yeah, it's a fun lightning round, and here's Jose Ortiz just winning 5 on Sunday, blowing the doors off this one late with the Bill Mott, Judd Homebred, and Coleridge, who really, really looked good. Look at geared down late, and what was a competitive turf race really broke through, and 5 of them on the day. He would go on to win 1 more, so he is here now for the winter, and he take notice, right?
Yeah, he's made his presence felt, that's for sure. Won the Philly and Mare Turf on Saturday with Regal Glory as well. Also on Sunday, and we talked about it a couple of times, paid out that Rainbow 6.
Yeah, $25,000 and change. There it is here, and Coleridge was one of the longer shots. Skyro was 9-2. Rocket Joe, the veteran, in there. It was unprecedented, and Jose, who I don't want to say blew it up, but Kai was in there as a very strong favorite, and that was really, to me, the horse you had to come up with, and it knocked me out on a sizable ticket, and so there it is, $25,194. I think when it was all said and done, with the new money and the carryover, over $6 million.
Congratulations if you hit it for 6 out of 6. And again, we start new today, and don't worry, it won't take very long for that pool to build back up. And all is good. Certainly it was a good weekend. Yeah,
Life is Good was awesome, winning the Pegasus World Cup, just running off the screen, and here he is here, just bottoming out this field. I mean, the race was literally over 10 jumps out of the gate. That's how good he was. And Nix Go couldn't run with him early, and he couldn't run with him late. So here you see him here, and now the world's his oyster, and that oyster might open up to the Dubai World Cup, which I thought it was somewhat surprising that they mentioned that. And even Todd Pletcher said that if we do go there, it kind of really changes our schedule. But certainly a big pot in the desert for I believe $12 million going 1.25 miles. And he looked good going 1.1 miles, and nobody was running with him late. So
yeah, I hosted the press conference afterwards, and Elliot Walden of Windstar asked Irad Ortiz, "Can he go 1.25 miles?" And Irad said, he can do anything. Yeah. He's just that good. He relaxed so well just the way that he went. So he is a truly special talent and Pegasus World Cup winner, but a past Pegasus World Cup winner and the favorite for the 2021 Horse of the Year. We say goodbye as far as on the racetrack to Nix Go.
Yeah, and I was really happy, and here he is going at, second career at TaylorMade Farm, as he's going to be a stallion now. And I just was really happy that he ran second, because this Pegasus World Cup really mirrored the Arrogate and California Chrome World Cup in a lot of different ways. And we know California Chrome didn't fire him, what was his, kind of swan song, and the passing of the baton to Arrogate and now to Life is Good. But Nix Go ran, and he didn't have things his own way, or he didn't break on top, and a lot of times you can quit and not just say, you know what, I'm all done here. He fought on and ran second, and I thought it was a gallant effort.
big performance from him for sure, and wishing him the best in his new career at stud at TaylorMade Farm. We also say farewell to another Breeders' Cup winner, wishing her the best on to her next chapter. And what an incredible tribute they do in Japan for Loves Only You.
How cool is this? I
Yeah.
mean, look at she's not running or anything, and here she is, the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf winner, and there is a sizable crowd there to wish her well and retire. And I think that win was, you know, they've tried so many times to win an ARC and it hasn't come to fruition. And for her to win the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, I think as a nation, they're very, very proud of that.
Yeah, I love to see that excitement and celebration there for their star, Loves Only You. Wishing her the best as we wish you all the best this afternoon at Gulfstream Park. Glad to have you with us. Ron Nicoletti will be joining us a little bit later on. And for now, we'll turn it over to Pete Aiello for Scratches and Changes.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place.
We back.
Northern Dancer, winner of the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
All the history, all these great horses, trainers, jockeys.
It is Barbaro to the final furlong. He is a neck in front. Barbaro wins!
It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Sunday silence surges to the front.
First day, opening day of the championship meet, I was kind of starstruck. You're watching LeBron James, and then next thing you know, you're playing basketball against him. That's how I felt when I'm riding with Johnny V, riding with Irad, Luis.
So many famous people come, Post Malone, Pharrell, J-Lo was there. It's epic.
The weather is beautiful. The facility is phenomenal.
It's all about Knicks Go. Knicks Go makes it 4 in a row.
It's one of the most beautiful tracks in the country, surrounded by some of the greatest horses and riders. It's amazing.
I grew up in Louisiana. My dad was a jockey, and my grandfather was a trainer. My grandfather trained in the backyard, so he had a barn behind the trailer house that we lived in. And so every afternoon when I'd get off the school bus, I was straight to the barn doing chores. I was an only child with no other kids around. You know, horses, looking back now, I didn't know then, but they were therapy for me. I just cherish them, you know, they're best thing could have happened to me.